Do you love thrifting for your flower arranging bits and pieces? Well, I've got 3 pieces of advice for you. Hello, I'm Julie from Julie Davis Flower Workshops, and Flowers Start, the online flower arranging classes. Now I've got a fabulous thrift haul to share with you. But before we get into it, let's talk about my top tips when you go out thrifting to the charity shop, car boot sale, or perhaps even finding free stuff in your local neighbourhood. Number 1, you need to wear some sturdy shoes, be dressed for the weather, and I always take a crossbody handbag. That way I've got my hands free. Number 2, I always take a large bag to take away my goodies, and inside it I have a bottle of water and a snack. It can be quite exhausting chasing after those finds. And number 3, I make a list. If it's not a real list, either written down on a piece of paper or on my phone, it's a list that I've got stored up here. As I've been looking for flower arranging bits and pieces, I know I can walk past all the bedding, all the clothes, all the shoes, and I'm just honing in on home decor items. That doesn't mean to say that something else doesn't always jump into my bag, but at least I'm focused. And to be honest, it's quite exhausting going thrifting. And I normally find I run up at least 12 to 15,000 steps on my pedometer. So it's a quite good way of keeping fit too. I love going thrifting, and I think part of that reason is I love the thrill of the chase. I'm on the lookout for something and I know it's not going to cost me too much money. So let's get on with the haul. I'm going to show you a few items from 3 local events I went to. The first one was down at Dover at Edgecliff Fort, and there's a charity shop there that runs a regular Saturday morning jumble sale, and you get given a paper carrier bag and you're allowed to fill it for £4. I was a bit late getting to the jumble sale, so I didn't actually find that much, and there's a couple of items that weren't flower arranging related, so I'm not going to show you those, but let's have a look and see what I got. The first thing I spotted was some hardback books. I'm not going to be reading them, but I did pick them up because I like the colour of them, and also this one intrigued me, British Ballet by Peter Noble, and a foreword by Margot Fontaine. The other ones are about English extracts and exercises, and 100 mysteries for armchair detectives. And although I'm not going to read these, I'm going to use them as risers. So I have similar books stacked up on my mantelpiece, and then I put a vase of flowers on the top, or perhaps just an interesting item that I want to display. And I always find that just lifting your flowers up, or lifting that decorative item up a little bit, just makes it look more prominent rather than having everything flat on one level. I'll show you a picture of my mantelpiece in a little while. I've themed it green and blue for the spring season. I also find myself this oval-shaped flower frog or glass block. I don't know whether you remember the video I posted a few weeks ago. I'll try and link it in the show notes under this one so you can flick back if you want to find out a little bit more about flower frogs. And whereas the other ones I have got a maker's mark on the back, this one doesn't. But I quite like the shape. Oval, quite Easter egg shaped, and of course Easter is around the corner. I also got this metal stand. I wonder whether someone's DIY'd this because the paint pattern at the top seems to be slightly raised, and I can see that the little feet here have been painted rather shoddily. So what I thought I might do is give it a light sanding and then freshen up the look. And again, I'm going to use that as a riser, either for a pot plant or my next flower arrangement. And actually, sitting here in the kitchen, I can see I've got a pot of fresh herbs, and I think they look rather nice displayed on that on my windowsill. And then also, strictly not flower arranging, although baskets are very commonly used in flower arranging. These ones are flat baskets, and the reason I picked these up was because I see so many YouTubers putting these on their walls as decor. I'm not going to do that. And by coincidence, they just happened to fit some plates I bought last year, and I thought they'd make a really lovely spring table setting. And of course the basketware is also quite Eastery. So I think that's everything I got from the jumble sale. So that little lot was £4, and then I thought I would trawl the rest of the charity shops in town. And I found myself 4 candlesticks. So if you've been following along with my flower arranging thrift hauls, you'll know that I found a pair or 2 individuals of very similar candlesticks a few weeks ago. These ones have got the back stamp mark of France and Rem, so made in France. And the ones I picked up here, I picked up 4 of them. There were another 2, and the other 2 didn't have quite as many grooves for holding the candle upright. These ones have got 8. So those candlesticks were £1 a pair, so I paid £2 for those, and £1 for this dish here. One of the charity shops I went to was having a sale and everything was £1. So this would have been a vegetable serving dish originally. It would have had a lid on the top, and I can see from the original price it was marked up as £3, so I got myself a bargain. This is a very similar shape to a bowl that I'm growing some grape hyacinths in, and I was given that particular one by somebody from my flower club, and at some point it'd be spray painted black and I spray painted blue over the top, and I think probably I prefer the original finish of this. So what I'm going to do is 1 in, 1 out. I might even transplant my hyacinths into this one, clean up the bowl and then send mine to the charity shop. And you might be thinking, Julie, those are amazing finds, but I will tell you, I do spend quite a lot of time going around the charity shops. So I made a specific journey down to Dover, which is about a 30-minute drive from my house. And before I left, I made a list of all the charity shops in town and followed my way around them using Google Maps, so I was not going to miss a single thing. And what I normally do is every time I go into my own hometown, I just have a little look at the charity shops on my way home. Normally, I go into town anyway to drop off a bag of things I've been decluttering. So despite what my husband thinks, my house isn't full of clutter. I am very good at decluttering and then recycling my lovely finds on. So what I found this week was, for 50p, this huge pastry cutter. I can't imagine you would ever make a biscuit that big. I couldn't resist it because I thought I'm bound to be able to use this for something. And what I'll do is I will show you a picture of another pastry cutter that I have used to make a DIY vase. And actually, in one way, I'm quite pleased to get this because I've used one of my own pastry cutters in this vase, which means I can't actually use it. This one is quite big, so actually it might fit a variety of jars. Let me show you what I mean. I also picked up this piece of wood. Now, I don't know whether that is a chopping board or whether it's just a random piece of wood. It seems to have some age to it, but I can't imagine that someone would have used it in this sort of sinuous shape. All the chopping boards from my childhood were either round or a square in shape and quite often had a sort of beveled detail pattern around the outside edge. This was 50p. And what I'm going to do is to put some feet on this. I've got a bit of a riser theme going at the moment. And what I'm going to do is put some feet on it and then I can display my flower arrangements on it. Now for boards like this, it's just a really good way of collecting your items. So if you've got lots of little jam jars with spring flowers in them, instead of having them dotted all over the place, you can put all your jars in one place. And then if you ever need to move them from the middle of your kitchen table, you can just lift the tray up and put them somewhere else. So I think that's going to be my job for this afternoon. Give this a really good clean, and I think it must have been a breadboard because I can see the cutting marks here. But yes, I'm going to give it a really good clean and put some feet on the bottom. I've got some cotton reels and I've also got some corks which I could cut down to use as little feet. Now my next find is this lovely little milky looking glass vase. Now there were two of these in the charity shop. One was white, and of course the other one here is this lovely pale pastel colour. And although this one's got no marking at the bottom, the other one I took a photograph of, and it said that the designer's name or the maker's name was Lisbeth Dahl, and I've googled that, and apparently she is a designer from Copenhagen. So this cost me £1. It's got some lovely little flowers on it, and I think that's going to look really great up on my mantelpiece with my green and blue tableau that I've got going on there at the moment. And I've also got this Perspex tray. So this came from the bring and buy sale that we had at my local flower club. So it's quite modern, but I thought it just looked really useful. I could either use it as a desk tidy, or one idea I've got is putting some gravel in the bottom and a little bit of soil and some grass seed. And I reckon I've got enough time to grow myself a mini lawn to use on my Easter table and nestle my Easter eggs into. We'll have to wait and see whether I actually do that. It's a nice thought. I went to my first car boot sale, the first of the season for me, and last year I didn't go to a car boot sale until the end of the year, so I'm quite pleased to be ahead of the game. So it was quite busy, and I did notice that there was a variety of people selling, and this is where I find it really useful to know what it is you want to buy. So I was able to walk past all the stores that had clothes, walk past all the stores that had plastic children's toys and garden plants and things like that. I was purely concentrating on sort of individual homeowners that were just clearing out. I came home with this pair of Kilner jars or mason jar drinking mugs, and they're a little bit dirty. I'm going to clean those up, and on the front it says quality refreshing ice cold drink glassware, established 1841. Of course they're not that old, they're just made to look old. And what I like to do with these is to screw off the top, and I use them for mini vases. So quite often I have a jam jar on my kitchen windowsill for all those odds and ends, but just to up my game a little bit, I like using these mason jars. And what I do is buy these grid lids from Amazon and screw them on the top, and then my flowers will hold in place. My best find from the car boot sale was this, I would call it a windowsill vase, but the chap on the stall called it a planter. I was trying to vaguely describe it. I didn't want to go all, oh, can I have the Constant Spry vase over there, and the price to go up immediately. He charged me £3 for this. I think possibly I could have bartered him down a little bit, but I'm not very good at bartering. So it is a lovely black vase, and on the back it has got a marking. HQ, I think. I thought it said Ho. HQ, Birmingham. And it's got a number, a date perhaps, 1956, 36, I'm not quite sure. Now I have got almost the identical vase to this already. It's a green one in this sort of colour, and mine's got a tiny chip on it. And I bought that from an antique store where my mum and dad used to live for 50p. So hence why I thought this one at £3 was quite pricey. Again, it needs a bit of a wash up, and I'll probably put it away until the end of the year. I'm imagining my paper white daffodils in here next year. And while I was at the car boot fair, I spotted one of these jars. And again, if you've been watching my thrift hauls for a while, you'll know that last time that I went down to the jumble sale at Dover, I picked up two of these jars. They are little country scenes, a bridge, a man with a dog, a church and lots of trees. And I think those ones cost me £1. Well, I spotted one of these wrapped up in a box, and it had a tiny price of 30p on it. And I said to the lady, is this 30p? And she said, no, it might have been 30p 30 years ago, but it's £1. And I looked at it and I thought, actually, the stopper didn't work very well. And I thought, do I want to spend £1 on something that the stopper doesn't work on, even though, like my other two jars, I use them as vases. So I thought, no, I'll walk away. I don't need it. And then I went to visit my sister And I thought, we'll do a spot of thrifting before we go over to her house. And I spotted a pair of the identical jars in the charity shop in her town. These cost me £1.50, but I'm quite happy with that price. And now I've got a growing collection of super stylish black and white vases. And I think I really am going to include black into my home decor a little bit more. So I've had a lucky few weeks of flower arranging, and as I said right at the beginning, I absolutely love it. I love the thrill of the chase, the fact that I'm not spending loads of money, so if I get tired of these items, I can either sell them on or redonate them back to the charity shops that are local to me. Let me know in the comments which was your favourite find of mine, and if you love thrifting for flower arranging bits and pieces, let me know in the comments as well what your favourite find has been from the items that you've found over the years. I've got lots of information down in the description box under my video, so do take a look. There's a link to my free Facebook group, Flower Start World, and if you'd like a free download on how to give flowers that look like they've been arranged by a pro, check out the link for that too. That's all from me for now, and I'll see you again next time.